Hey, what is good, people? This is JJ Wilson. Welcome to the channel. Now we're finally getting into Act 3 of the comic Ryu x Chun Li, The Heart of Battle. So this is Act 3 I'm going to be talking about here. And so we pick up going into the next day. Ryu just defeated Urian. If you watched Act 2 of my video, I'll probably post that link shortly. And he just fought Ryu. He beat Urian. Ryu just beat Urian. And now he has returned to Hong Kong after one day. And turns out the dojo is destroyed. And you know, Ryu, he's in a panic right now. He thought everybody's gone. Now that he's seen this dojo get destroyed that was newly fixed. So he's looking for Chun Li. He's searching inside and he can't find her nor the children. Next thing you know, he gets a phone call from Sakura, his disciple. So he answers the phone. Sakura is in Italy along with her newly engaged husband Sean Matsuda. She's telling Ryu that they're about to visit Rose in Italy, and then next thing you know, they got attacked by a shapeshifter. And the shapeshifter is actually one of Yuri's mimetic warriors named Necro. So Necro, disguised as Rose, attacked Sakura and Sean. So yeah, it almost tried to kill. Necro almost killed Sakura and Sean, but they beat the warrior, the mimetic warrior. And Ryu, hearing that, he wants Sakura and Sean to contact Ken, and all three of those guys meet up together and travel to Hong Kong to rendezvous with Ryu. But before Ryu could finish up, his old arch nemesis shows up, Akuma, the very person that killed his master and father figure, Goken. So before they fight, we see Chun Li is with Rose. Now, interestingly enough, her clothes are gone, and even her hair is shaved off, and that can't be a good sign. And it turns out Chun Li sees Rose right next to her, and Rose tells her that yes, I've been here for months now, and Bison's been using me to grow his power inside of Juri. He took over Juri's body. He took over her body about a year ago, and ever since he's been using Rose as a energy source to to maintain Juri's power and also Bison's control of her. And Chun-Li's wondering, like, is he gonna do the same thing to me? And Rose is like, no. And we see all these objects pointing towards Chun-Li. Whatever he's got planned for you, it's gonna be far worse than what he's doing to me. So yeah, from that image right there, I can conclude that Chun-Li is about to be turned into just like her father Q, or now whose real name is Dorai. The same thing's about to happen to her as it happened to her father all those years back. So Ryu is fighting Akuma, and Akuma can sense a newfound strength within Ryu, and he wants to test it out for himself. And based on Ryu's explanation, Akuma figures it out. So you're in love, but this love power of yours isn't going to be enough. If you really want to kill me, then you need to embrace the darkness, otherwise you'll never be able to destroy me. And Ryu, in response to that, he's telling Akuma, I don't want to destroy you. I just need you and the Dark Ado to leave me alone. And so he powers up again, almost to the point where he's actually using the same move that Akuma likes to use against his opponents. In case you guys don't know, it's the Wrath of the Raging Demon. That's one of his famous super attacks, Akuma. But this time Ryu is using something similar to that with his newfound power. And because of that, he was able to purge away all the darkness inside of Akuma. He was able to purge away the Dark Ado. And now Akuma is back to his original self before he let the power the Satoru no Hado take him over. And Ryu was like, yes, you were right about me, Akuma. I am a man of love. But you were wrong about my power. And before he could finish, we have Juri, disguised as Bison. She ended up killing Akuma. Pretty much KO'd him, punched him right through his chest. Took out his heart too. And Ryu is looking at this woman, he says, wait, Juri? And in response to that, Juri says in body but not in soul. And so Ryu gets a closer look at her, just looking at the clothes and even the smile, and they're like, Bison. And then, Bison goes ahead and says, yes, it is me. I took over Juri's body as a host. And then he explains on how he did that process. And throughout that time, after Shaolu went down, Bison was looking for a new host to control. And he had several candidates. The main two were Cammy and Rose. But because Cammy was too involved with Delta Red, he couldn't use her. And Rose put a protective mark over her back, over the lower part of her back. And because of that, she made sure that no evil forces could take over her body. So Bison's like, well, crap, I can't take care of Rose. I can't get her. So the only other option he had was Juri. And the biggest reason why he picked Juri was because of her engine inside her eye, her feng shui engine. And she already had some darkness inside her soul anyway, so Bison was like, yeah, she'll make a great candidate. And he was going to use her body to enact revenge against Chun Li. And that you also see a page there, Juri as Bison has Q or Dorai accompanying her. So he could use Q as a way to get back at Chun Li. And since now he's inside a female host, a female body, he figures if he could capture Ryu, using him pretty much as a sperm donor, he's going to use him as a way to use Juri's body to create new host bodies. So Bison he'll never be able to get destroyed. He'll always stay alive by having all these newer bodies. And yes, of course, smiling and grinning, Juri is like, yes, Ryu, I won't kill you. You're too important for my master plan. With me as a woman and you as a man, we'll be able to make as many bodies as we want. And of course, Ryu is not trying to hear that. He wants to know what Chun Li is. And Bison said, no, don't worry about her. I got something special in store for her. I'll make her a way better fighter than her dad. And so they start fighting again. And so we go back into the lab, and Chun Li is asking Rose, can she free her and Rose from out of this laboratory using her soul power? And Rose is like, no, I'm still too weak. Bison is using me for his strength. And unfortunately, the only thing in this lab is suffering and horror. I need positive thinking. I need positive thoughts in order to help me revive my power. And so Chun Li does just that. She starts thinking very hard and deep. Rose is asking, hey, what are you trying to do? Chun Li is like, I'm thinking about Ryu. And Rose is like, I see. You spent a lot of time with Ryu, so tell me what you were doing with him. It's like, Chun Li was like, yes, I'm in love with Ryu. It's like, and then, Chun Li describes what she's been doing with Ryu and how he's been such a big help for her and the children and what he's done in her life. And Rose is starting to sense that, and her strength is ever increasingly growing. The more Chun Li thinks about Ryu and what he's done for her, the stronger Rose becomes. And as a result of that, Rose's ki jumps at such a high rate to where they end up freeing themselves from bondage. Because she's feeling the love that Chun Li has for Ryu. And she knows that Ryu has also changed Rose's life too, by helping her free herself from Bison. And so with those thoughts together, they're able to get out of that bondage. I'm not sure exactly where they are now, but Rose is telling Chun that yes, Ryu is fighting Bison as we speak, and we need to help him. And Rose is like, all right, I'm going to send you out there with Ryu, and you and Ryu are the only ones that can stop Bison right now. So I'm going to use my soul power to teleport you from where we are to Ryu at the battlefield. And then we see that Ryu is losing the fight. And he's at a very awkward position here with Juri because, Juri's trying to use him as a male host. And it's not looking too good. But Chun Li is back, and she's there in time to stop Bison from messing with Ryu. And then Ryu sees Chun Li and he's asking her, how in the world did you get here? And where are the kids? And Chun Li's like, well, you can thank Rose for that. And don't worry about the kids. I made sure that Hao Mei and Xiao Mei, the girlfriends of Yun and Yang, they took the children to Interpol so they could be well guarded and well protected. And I did that right after you fought Urian, right before you went out to face Urian. And interestingly enough, because of that blast, Bison went back to his male form. So I'm not sure how that happened. I guess it's because Rose freed herself from bondage, so Bison had no longer, he couldn't control his female form, so he had to go back to his male form. So I'm thinking that's how that happened. And because of that, they start fighting Chun Li and Ryu versus Bison all by himself, and Bison alone is whooping their butts. He's whooping their tails. There's nothing that either Ryu and Chun Li can do at this point. And Bison explains because he purged away all of his goodness years ago. He has ceased becoming human, and now he's pretty much a spirit of violence and hatred. It doesn't matter whether he loses a body or not, because his spirit is always going to live on. And so, and Ryu hearing that, he's like, yeah, that we need to find a new way to fight, a new power. And this is where he holds Chun Li very close and they start kissing. And at first, Bison thought that this was a sign of surrender. Like they're saying their goodbyes, that they're about to get killed. But it turns out that wasn't the case. Their keys start powering up, and their energy is building up, and Bison, realizing this, he has to go in for that Psycho Crusher to try to kill them both. But no, it's too late. With the combined Kikosho and Hadoken, Chun-Li and Ryu create a Shinku Kikosho Hadoken, or maybe a Kikosho Hadoken, however you want to call it. They pretty much combined their power, their blast, to kill out Bison, and it came at Bison so fast he had no time to react. And it pretty much destroyed everything that Bison was in spirit. And after that attack, you see that Juri is back to normal. And she's lying down, weak and exhausted. And of course, Chun-Li and Ryu are also exhausted from the ordeal, and I guess they're asleep as well. And Rose comes in and picks up Juri's body and says, let's see if I can help you build a future, just like Ryu and Chun-Li are about to do as well. And so the very next day, we got Ryu and Chun-Li. They went back to the damaged dojo that they just newly constructed, and it's no longer, now it's in shambles. And despite everything that's happened, Chun-Li said, you know what, I'm glad everything turned out alright. In response to that, Ryu wants to rebuild the dojo from scratch. But Chun-Li says, no, I just want to start over everything. There's really nothing left for me here in Hong Kong. What I really want now is to start a new life. A new life in Japan, with you, Ryu. Ryu's like, do you mean that? Chun-Li's like, yes, of course, but so as long as you can reopen the old dojo, your master's dojo, for some children. Ryu's like, yeah, sure, that's not a problem. And then Chun-Li goes on to say, I looked at how my life could be if I lived by myself, but then I see how others have lived their lives along with their significant others. And I can see how so much happier they are and how much stronger they are too. And because I see that now, Ryu, will you please marry me? And Ryu is happy to hear that, and he's like, yes, I'd be honored to marry Chun-Li. And then we have panels for the next couple of pages of street fighters from around the world, and hear the great news that Ryu is about to get married to Chun-Li. From Alex to Buki to Gao, his family. Interesting enough, Mika, Rainbow Mika, and Zangief. I guess they're husband and wife now. And they're saying, yeah, we should go to that wedding too. And then we have Elena, who also senses something, a newfound love going on. And then we have Ken and Cammy playing. They're playing on the PlayStation. Not sure what game they're playing, but it's like, yeah, we're trying to figure out what their honeymoon is going to be, what they're going to do after the wedding. But it's like, well, we'll just let them deal with it. And then the wedding happens. Everybody's having a good time. And while Ryu and Chun-Li are dancing in the middle of the wedding, I'm not sure if this is in at the dojo or not. It probably is, but at least the setting is in Japan, so that's where they are. That's where the wedding is. And so Ryu's asking Chun Li, "You think the kids are really gonna like it up here instead of Hong Kong?" And Chun Li's like, "Yes, they'll love it here. They feel right at home, and so do I." And Ryu's like, "Yeah, this always been home for me." And then Ken comes in because he wants to dance with Chun Li. And Ryu's like, "Okay, well, there's some guests I want to talk to anyway, so go ahead and have fun." And here's a significant part of the wedding. Ryu comes up to Rose and Juri Han, who's no longer in control of Bison. She's pretty much, I guess, back to her old self. And so Ryu is asking, are they having a good time, Rose and Juri? And Rose is like, yeah, we are. And Juri is healing up. With all that she's been through, any regular woman would have been broken, but not this girl. And Ryu's like, is she your apprentice? Is she a student? And Rose is like, yeah, something like that. We've gone through a lot. We've experienced some amazing things together. We're supporting each other any other way we can. And Ryu, all of a sudden, he spots a familiar figure from outside, and he excuses himself from Rose, and he's trying to follow this figure around. He's trying to catch up, but he can't catch up to the figure. It looks a lot like his old master. So he goes back inside, and he sees an old prayer bead that his master used to wear around his neck. So he picks up this bead, he's examining it, and next thing you know, Ken and Chun Li are calling him out. Chun Li wants to take photos, and Ken's like, hey man, we can open up those presents later. Let's go take these photos now. And Ryu's like, well, okay, I'll come along. And Ken's like, hey, what's that in your hand? And Ryu's like, I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like it's a welcome home gift. That's what it looks like. And then you see all the pictures of all the different Street Fighters, and then the main picture with Ryu and Chun Li and all the kids that she adopted. And then that's it. It's over. That's the end of the main story. It was a pretty interesting story overall. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make another video with some afterthoughts. And I'll also cover the epilogue of the story too. I didn't see that down there, but I'll probably talk about that later in another video. So everyone, thank you for listening, and also listening to the last other reviews I've done for this comic. Like I said, I'll put up the website at the description box below. You want to check out the website and also the main story that's available for download. And thank you all for listening, and be sure to come back for more reviews from me. Alright, y'all have a good one.